The much anticipated Fallout TV adaptation has finally released. And who am I kidding? We all knew this would be bad. Is anyone surprised? I mean, a single person. I made a video just reacting to the first trailer and knew this would be an absolute butchering. And why is that? Well, not just because it's Amazon, and we all know from Rings of Power and various other shows they made that they really don't care about the source material of any series, franchise, no matter how beloved. I mean, if they didn't care about Lord of the Rings, they sure as hell were not going to care about Fallout. But not just that, we know Bethesda doesn't care about Fallout, at least the lore, the canon, anything that they weren't directly involved with. And honestly, in some cases, even some of their older games, they don't care about continuity in the least bit. Now, for the sake of maintaining relevancy, I'm only going to review the first episode in this video, and I'll review the whole season next week. Every single episode dropped at the same time, so on the one hand, that's totally a good thing because this will be gone and forgotten in no time flat, because I don't think anyone who's a real fan of Fallout is going to consider this canon, especially because of all of the retcons, inconsistencies. It's obvious the showrunners didn't give a single shit about the Fallout universe, yet Todd Howard said this is canon. I fucking hate Todd Howard at this point. I don't care if he's not directly involved with any of Bethesda's projects and he's basically just a glorified salesman, the face of the company. Doesn't matter. He's still taking the fucking blame. So before I start spoiling everything in the intro, we might as well just get into the breakdown. So episode 1 begins in 2077, right before the bombs drop. We see Walton Goggins playing one of the main characters, the Ghoul. Yes, they literally call him the Ghoul when there are thousands of ghouls at minimum in the Fallout universe. He is the Ghoul. But as of right now, he is Cooper Howard, a Marine veteran who is famous for something. I don't think they explain it in this scene, but they imply he played some kind of cowboy character. I don't know if it's for commercials or military propaganda. And now he just does birthday parties for alimony payments. And I find this even more funny because his kid is mixed race. So his black wife divorced him, and now he plays fucking birthday parties. How black-pilling is that? And at the risk of getting a shit ton of dislikes from normies, just like my review of the first episode of The Last of Us, I find this even more funny because if you know anything about marriage statistics, you would know that white male, black female actually has the lowest divorce rates. So in a way, you could almost say this is anti-propaganda, but I still think it's promoting race mixing, as basically every show on television does. You know, for as woke as video games are these days, TV and movies blow the gaming industry out of the water. Basically, every streaming show I've tried to watch with my mother has had some form of propaganda in it, and usually multiple types, whether it's race-related, gender-related, LGBT-related, it's usually all of the above. But anyway, getting back to Fallout. The rich guy who's hosting the birthday party calls Walton Goggins a communist because he won't stick his thumb up in reference to the supposed safe distance from a nuclear bomb, implying that Walton Goggins opposes the war with China. Nothing really comes of this. This whole scene is obviously supposed to give you an idea what the retro future culture of 2077 looks like. But if a modern Marxist rewrote history and added diversity everywhere. Now, it's not like in the original Fallout games, all the characters were white, but there's something uncanny about this whole thing. We'll put it at that. I'm not going to make a huge deal over it. So anyway, shortly after the first nuke drops on LA, the rich guy punches his black friend, not letting him in their Fallout shelter, and Walton Goggins rides off on a horse with his daughter on the back, as if you could fucking outrun a nuke. They literally just told us in the previous scene the safe distance is the size of a thumb. I think that explosion might be a little bit bigger than that. I know they did this to have a really dramatic scene, but it just comes across incredibly idiotic, especially since 3 more nukes drop, one which is within a mile of the house. Whatever. So anyway, moving on, we fast forward to the present, and I want to point out this takes place after all of the games. And more importantly, 15 years after Fallout New Vegas. You're gonna want to remember that, considering this takes place on the West Coast. So now we meet our true protagonist, Lucy, a resident of Vault 33, which I guess was another control vault. Either that or it's some kind of multi-vault experiment. As they fail to adequately explain in the show, Vault 31, 32, and 33 are all directly connected to each other. And so Lucy is applying for an arranged marriage with one of the other vaults. They show off all of her various skills. And of course, she just so happens to be good at basically everything. Definitely not Mary Sue, guys. And of course, she gets approved. We find out her father is the overseer. Her younger brother is this tiny, huge-nosed, cowardly, incompetent beta male. And also that Lucy fooled around with her cousin.
Messing around with your cousin, it's all well and good for kids, but it's not a sustainable long-term sexual practice, you know?
Who, despite being a tall, kind of more Chad-looking dude, is also a complete coward, worthless pussy. Get used to hearing that. And so the members of Vault 33 meet up with the members of Vault 32, and we find out her soon-to-be husband is actually a white guy and not ugly. Shocking. But don't worry, they ruined that pretty shortly. At the wedding, Lucy asks her new husband, Monty, what his sperm count is. You know, I think I'm actually starting to like this girl. And even more based, as soon as they get back to her room, Monty strips naked and they just straight up have sex. So I guess one good thing came out of this show. But of course, everything goes to shit as the big schnoz little brother soon discovers one of the members of Vault 32 is dead and rotting. And it turns out raiders somehow got into Vault 32, killed everyone, and Lucy gets stabbed, but she manages to save herself in the most cliche Hollywood way possible by smashing a glass on his head and then like slicing his face. She heals herself with a stim pack and then heads into the armory and grabs a fucking trank gun. I guess all the real guns were already gone. And she witnesses a bunch of her friends get horrifically murdered, men just getting the absolute shit beat out of them. The only competent males at all are the raiders. But her pregnant best friend, after getting stabbed in the eye with a fork, gets a hold of an SMG and starts mowing down raiders. Wow! My god, it's Wolfenstein 2 all over again. This is the cringiest shit ever, seeing pregnant women be badass. I fucking hate this propaganda. It is so transparent. Whatever, moving on. Lucy's husband turns out to still be alive and almost kills her, but her dad manages to save her, being the only competent male in the show, and Lucy gets to see how brutal he is, which I'm pretty sure is implying that he's been to the surface before. But all of the survivors manage to get captured anyway. We see that the Latina overseer is the real villain of the show. Yes, this middle-aged brown woman is supposed to be this mega badass evil raider we're supposed to be intimidated by. Modern media is such a joke. We're not even halfway through the episode and I already don't want to watch anymore, but fuck it, let's just get through this. Evil raider chick gives the overseer an ultimatum. Either choose his daughter Lucy or choose the rest of the residents of the vault. Obviously he chooses his daughter, but instead of killing all the others, the raiders just kidnap the dad and then just let the others run away as a bomb timer goes off. Oh, and Raider bitch reveals that she knows Lucy's mom. Wow, what a mystery. I'm so intrigued. What the fuck was the point of this scene? Alright, now we get to meet our final main character, Maximus. And it's another pussy-ass black guy. You know, it's one thing that every single TV show, movie, and now video game has a diverse cast, but do you have to have every black man be a fucking pussy in modern media? You know, as harsh as I was on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, at least Barret is a cool character, okay? You can sell me on a diverse character. If they're cool, if they just act like a person, but they happen to have a different color of skin, you know, I know this is very stereotypical shit that basically everyone said by now, but it's true. It doesn't matter how many times it's said. It's accurate. And yeah, so he gets hazed by all the other Brotherhood of Steel initiates, and he gets saved by a trans man. I'm not joking, dude. There's probably gonna be some coping and seething, but no, that is not a tomboy, that is not a masculine female. No, that is a woman who identifies as a man. You know it to be true. And she's more of a man than Maximus is. This is fucking embarrassing. Whatever. Anyway, moving on. I have to get through this, guys. I can't take it anymore. Everything I love has been destroyed. Let's just fast forward through the rest of this episode. Okay, so another Pridwin shows up. Maybe it's the same Pridwin from Fallout 4. I don't know. They don't confirm or deny in this episode. We see some Brotherhood Knights in T60 power armor show up. And I don't know, it looks okay. I know some people are like, it looks like shitty cosplay. I think the costumes look okay. It's when there's CGI that it looks bad. In the next scene, Maximus and the girl boy sneak away and look at some power armor, and Maximus has a flashback to when he was saved by the Brotherhood of Steel. Then we see the initiates play some brick ball. Look, I know they're trying to be cute about like, oh, post-apocalypse, they don't understand how sports work, but really throwing bricks into a fucking square hoop? And we learn some of the initiates have been chosen to be squires. And of course, Maximus doesn't get chosen, but the girl boy does. And so the next morning, as G.I. Jane puts on her boots, a trap placed inside her boot shreds her leg. And to no surprise, Maximus is blamed for this and taken away to be interrogated. Back at Vault 33, Lucy tries to get the council to send out a search party for her dad, but the fat black soy jack on the council is too chicken shit, as is the rest of them. And so Lucy teams up with Big Schnoz and Sweet Home Alabama to leave the vault themselves. Of course, her brother, being a massive pussy, won't go with her. Her cousin actually wants to, but she knows he's incredibly incompetent and also a coward, so she tranks him and leaves the vault by herself. Now, this is where the show jumps the shark. We find out that Vault 33 is located next to Venice Beach, in the heart of the Boneyard. Now, if you know anything about Fallout lore, you would know that the NCR dominated this territory, brought civilization back to it. There is no way in hell that Vault 33 was not contacted over the course of 100 years. And of course, to address the elephant in the room, LA itself is a massive wasteland, like a featureless desert. What happened to the NCR? Well, at the time of me recording this, I was spoiled of future episodes. And apparently, Shady Sands got nuked 4 years before the events of Fallout New Vegas. Yeah, that's how you know the showrunners didn't do the research, and yet this show's canon. It's totally canon, guys, that the capital of the NCR got nuked before New Vegas. Yet it was never mentioned, and it's more than established that the NCR dominated California and brought civilization back. Fuck this show. Fuck Todd Howard. Fuck Amazon. Bethesda is so beyond dead to me, it's insane. Everyone who likes Fallout 4 gets exactly what they fucking deserve with this show. What blows my mind is there's people who actually thought Starfield was going to be good. And even though the NCR capital was nuked, that doesn't explain how the Boneyard turned into a giant desert wasteland. But it's as simple as the showrunners didn't care. This is not made for the fans. This is made for normies who have heard of Fallout. It's made for women who won't even watch the show. And most importantly, it's made as a humiliation ritual. They will destroy everything you love, and you will do nothing about it. At best, you'll vote with your wallet and hope things get better. Yeah, that's worked out so great for us in the last decade. But whatever, I'm not gonna Fed post, because I will legitimately get banned. Next scene, we get back to Maximus, and he cries like a little baby bitch as the scribe interrogates him, accusing him of something he didn't do, and he makes almost no effort to defend himself. Eventually, he works up the courage to speak and just says he would gladly give his life for the Brotherhood, and the scribe rewards him by promoting him to squire, taking the she-man's place. Then we get a scene where the she-man doesn't blame him because she knows he would never do it because, again, he's a little bitch boy who would never do anything wrong. What a great protagonist. And at his anointment ceremony, he gets a brand burned on the back of his neck by power armor, which is kind of cool, I guess. And now we get another massive retcon. Apparently, the Enclave is still around. Yup, even though we see the last of their remnants in New Vegas, which are a bunch of fucking senile boomers. 15 years later, the Enclave is back with a vengeance. Maximus is tasked with finding one of their runaways who I guess is hanging with dog meat. And for the final scene of the episode, we wrap back around to Walton Goggins as we see a few mercenaries dig up his corpse. Oh god, here we go again. Pete Hines has been vindicated. For those of you who don't know, there is a unmarked quest in Fallout 4 where you find a ghoul child who's been locked in like a fridge or something. I can't even really remember. The child has been in there for 200 years with no food or water, and you reunite him with his parents who are also ghouls. It's quite possibly the dumbest quest in any RPG of all time, and rightfully, fans pointed out how stupid it was, how it's been established in the original games that ghouls do eat and drink, and I believe even in Fallout 3, they have to eat and drink. But no, now ghouls are just immortal zombies, and Pete Hines, being a massive silly Billy on Twitter, pointed out how nerds are all losers for caring about continuity. You're right, why should I care about anything that happens in the story? I should just consume your product, you piece of shit. But now, over 8 years later, Bethesda still has a chip on their shoulder about that one, and has confirmed in this show that ghouls can be buried underground in a coffin for who knows how long, and be perfectly fine. And for seemingly no reason at all, Walton Goggins kills the 3 mercenaries. They weren't even hostile, they were offering to share a bounty with him, and he kills them. This show is fucking stupid. Okay, that was episode 1. It sucked dick. It ruined everything. Fallout's dead again. Honestly, Fallout's been dead to me since Fallout 4 released, and to even more fans after 76. So while yes, I did get kind of angry over certain things in this show, you know, sometimes I ham things up for the reviews. I honestly don't care that much. I'm just tired of propaganda being shoved in my face more than anything. And yeah, I mean, this show's woke as fuck. It's diverse as hell. It's an obvious female empowerment story. That's really the most annoying thing of all. Lucy is an obvious Mary Sue. All of the men around her are incredibly pathetic and weak. The trans male character was more of a man than Maximus, one of our main characters. You would think black people would make more of a stir about this, but as you saw with my Spider-Man 2 review, no, they totally love Miles Morales, who's fucking Urkel incarnate. So I guess we're gonna continue to see these characters in the future until showrunners and game developers start getting called racist for this pathetic beta male stereotype. And yeah, I don't think I need to bring up again how heavily they've shit on the Fallout lore already in the first episode. I'm really not looking forward to watching the rest of this. I just know when they show the huge crater where Shady Sands used to be, it's just gonna be a giant middle finger to all the fans. And I've heard Mr. House also shows up in this show. And to spoil a plot point from later in the show, they confirm that Vault-Tec fired the first nuke, which completely ruins the main theme of Fallout. These fucking far leftists don't even listen to the opening monologue or the ending one. War never changes. That's what the fucking series is about, but you stupid fucks are so obsessed with capitalism, you think it's about corporation bad. That's what Fallout's really about. The games literally tell you what the theme is word for word. Now that it's not America or China's fault that the world ended, the entire message of the series is ruined. I guess the silver lining of all of this is there's only a few gaming franchises I still even care about anymore, and it's only a matter of time till those are destroyed too. And then I can truly be apathetic about the entire gaming industry. So yeah, as if I even had to tell you, don't watch this show. I mean, if you like this show on any level, I've lost any and all respect for you. In fact, I don't think I even view you as human anymore if you like this show. Yeah, I'll go that far. You can quote me on that shit. So please, for the love of God, do not hate watch this show. That's about it. See you next time, guys.